So thanks. I kind of went over here and I was like, you got to talk to me about your rig. I met Micah at Overland Expo this year in Flagstaff, Arizona. It was absolutely my pleasure. He is also known as Overland Under Budget. Now, if this is your first time here, I'm Michael, I'm your host. We believe adventure is necessary for everyone, and that's why we do everything we can to support overland adventure travel. You need it. Solace in the great outdoors, even if you don't know that you do. Load up a rig like that. It's easy. Get Overland Bound 1, which is our community's free app. Go to the general comment section or the general discussion section and say, hey, where do I get started? And our community is awesome. They're going to help you out. We all started somewhere. Now, Micah's philosophy is awesome. It is be smart with your money. Do what you can by yourself. You guys see these builds out there and they're awesome. I love them. I enjoy them. But you start doing the mental math and you're like, that's a brand new Tacoma, or that's a brand new Tundra. And then you see that somebody's completely replaced the suspension, added a cage, fully kitted it out. You start adding that up and you're like, man, I can't afford that. Well, it's really important for us that you know you don't have to do all that. If you do and you can, awesome. That's great. But you don't have to. We like to say it doesn't matter what you drive. It does matter where you drive it. You have to be prepared, but you can be well prepared for overland travel without spending all that money if you'd like to. With a little do-it-yourself know-how and help from the overland community, you don't have to spend that kind of money. Now, Micah, tell us what you got.
It's a 2001 Toyota Tacoma double cab. Bought it about 2.5 years ago, bone stock, down the street from me. First pickup I've owned. Paid cash for it, and single family owner. Just was excited to get my first truck, and I've always been into vehicles. I lived on a farm for a little bit, so I mean tractors, monster trucks, three-wheelers, motorcycles, anything, rally cars, race cars. So I was always excited to like get a truck at some point and be able to kind of make it. I just wanted to make it like the most functional thing for me. You know, whether that was like adding a winch to like move branches or work on stuff or onboard air, all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, I'm so interested by that kind of stuff. So that was like, it was fun to get the truck and be like, okay, now I can start to do that. And that's when I kind of got aware of like the overland scene. I'd always been kind of into like utility vehicles. I know it sounds kind of funny, but like UN military vehicles have always inspired me. Steel wheels, just everything done, nothing's done for aesthetic. It's just done for use. And that kind of like, that kind of, you know, function before form is beautiful in a way, you know? So I was inspired by all that stuff. So when I got the truck, I just started kind of working on it. And I was on a pretty extreme budget, and
talk to us about your budget.
So I don't know if I should say this or not, but like we qualified for food stamps when I bought this truck. And for me, it wasn't like, hey, we're poor. Budget is about, for me, is more like be smart with your money. You know, like I'm not poor. Like I got money saved up. We're working on real estate stuff, and people, don't associate that with like success. But it's more of like the thought behind it. Like just be smart with your money. You know, like you need to buy a $800 rack, or can you retrofit something, for $40? Or in my case, the first thing that I did to it was same day I bought it, I looked on Craigslist and I found a rear bumper for $300. Put it on. It was awesome. And then my neighbor gave me a roof rack. And it was like, sweet, I'm rolling. So yeah, the budget part for me is more like, just like think about it, like do you really need it?
Micah was resourceful with his materials as well. He sold the original camper shell, the rack, and the rear bumper for about $3,400. The new camper that he designed and built was about $3,000 in materials. So all in with gearing and lockers and some other things, he estimates that the build was around $14,000 on the low end to $17,000 on the high end, all in. So if I walk by and I look at your rig, the number in my head is that's a $230,000 rig.
My wife would probably agree with you, but no, it's not. She would think I spent that much. I probably spent that much time on it, but no.
How long did it take? How long did the build take? Like from when you got the truck to, now.
So this is what I built basically up until February of this year. So about 6 months 6 months ago.
Wow.
It looked like this.
Wow.
And this was all my kind of DIY stuff. So I had made this awning and bumper, and I have YouTube videos on that I was just designing whatever I wanted.
Right on, yeah.
The roof rack, all the roof racks, all the metal work except for the bumper. It was all just home design stuff. But so that's what it looked like after about 2 years of owning it. And then February this year I was gonna clean the frame. You know, these older Toyotas, like, they're notorious for having rust. And I was worried that it might be like that. So I took it off and, as soon as I took it off, I was like, I could do the flatbed right now.
Right.
Because it was in my mind, I was like, that'd be such a fun challenge, because I've been designing stuff for the truck and get the opportunity to design half of the truck, like visually, like how everything's laid out and stuff it was just such a fun thought to me that I couldn't help myself, and so it started right then.
Right on.
I just went to that, yeah.
I have it on there. You saw me mount it. Now I've just basically got tape attached to it, trying to figure out the design. I know what the design, like how I want it to look in my mind. I'm just trying to figure out how that translates measurement-wise onto the truck.
So the platform is your make and model. Tell me that.
Okay, so 2001 Toyota Tacoma, SR5 TRD, so it's got the rear locking diff.
Great.
V6, of course, automatic transmission. I just replaced it myself a little bit ago. Yeah,
great. And then talk to me about some of the components that you chose. Clearly, this is custom. You've built this. Yeah.
But outside of stuff like that.
Tell me some of the components that you chose for the rig.
It's got 488 gears from Nitro Gears, and it's got an ARB air locker in the front.
Great.
Kind of Gucci mods, kind of expensive mods, but but longevity mods. You're running larger tires. You're probably fine with a manual transmission. With an automatic transmission, larger tires, extra weight, you really can't get that torque converter to lock up, and that's what cools your transmission on those road trips and uphills. So that's a huge deal. That was a total game changer.
Great.
Now I can climb grades. Now I can control my temperature, and with a trans cooler. So I blew up my transmission on a trip, came back, replaced it myself, new cooling everything, radiator, trans cooler, temp gauge, all that stuff, to kind of just keep it running good. And then I have a onboard air system I made myself. It's a Smitty built compressor that I hard mounted. Made the wiring and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you talked about Gucci bills. Let's reflect back to what you said at the beginning now, which is being smart with your money. Part of that is you want to buy gear that you're not going to replace in a year, right? Because that's a tremendous waste. And I've actually made that mistake myself, where I buy 3 of one thing before I go, wait a minute.
That's the other thing with budget stuff. I've learned recently too. It's I'm kind of one of those people who go to a discount store and look for a pair of shorts, and I'll buy one for 20, and then they didn't really work. I'll buy another one for 20, and I'll buy another one for 30. And I just found that Lululemon shorts for $80 are my favorite, and that's the best use of my
forever,
money. So that applies to, I think, just life. Just be smart with your money. Know yourself, and some things you can't avoid, and it's for the better. There's a reason why a lot of that stuff is expensive.
That's right.
And I learned that making my own stuff. It's I could spend 2 days making a little bag. And the quality is horrible. Or I can buy a bag for $9 on Amazon, and the quality is far beyond. So you just got to know your limits and kind of know why stuff costs the way it does. But,
What else do you have on the truck? What else should we know about it?
I mean, I guess there's just so much I could tell you. I don't want to. So I have a custom dash I really like. I hand built. It's got a 10-inch touchscreen, front and rear trail cams I can turn on at any time.
10-inch touchscring, what is it?
It's an Android unit off of Amazon.
Great.
Yep. So I've got forward and rear cameras, which I really wanted on the trails, because cresting, you can, and a lot of times I'm with my son, and the emergency brake doesn't work on these trucks. Go up over something, you're like, I really like to know what I'm about to go over. So, forward and rear cameras, CarPlay, which is awesome for anyone who uses CarPlay already knows that. It's just a game changer. So adding, what I could to the interior to make it more comfortable, because in California, all my trips are first a long road trip. And it's that's why I'm on all-terrain tires. It's I wrote 700 miles to go here, and then I might do a trail, and then I'll go 700 miles back on the freeway. So
I always recommend all-terrains to folks, unless they have a specific need for mud terrains.
Here's the thing.
That's the way to go.
I want to make a really irresponsible purchase and buy mud trains. even though I know they're terrible for me, but I just want the way they look. So to let you guys know that I still think the same way. Like I can't help myself. I want a pair, but I don't know if I will. But
your recovery gear's right there. You know?
Yeah, and I'm sure
So
someone's
that's
gonna
great.
say like, you shouldn't put your recovery gear here in case you pin this side of the truck.
Yeah.
Like honestly, this is when I built the flatbed. There was a bunch of thought that went into how high I wanted it. I wanted to maintain that factory up travel.
Yeah.
I wanted the trail capability to be there.
Yeah.
And this is a flatbed with a removable camper. So the idea is, hey, I'm not on a trip. I pop this off and I've got a work truck. So I just wanted to make sure I used the space that I created by having that higher smart. And so what's in here right now is just kind of like what I have in at the moment. I haven't had time to like really, like it'd probably be better to have some of this recovery gear in the front in case I get stuck where I can't open this, right? But with that said, it's like, it's just using space, trying to use space smart.
Tell us a little bit about the way you constructed the back, the flatbed.
Haphazardly.
Okay.
No, I was kidding.
Yeah, fair enough.
No,
right?
I'm just kidding.
Trial and error, iterative design.
Yeah, I wish I brought them. I have a bunch of just like pencil sketches and cardboard things.
Yep.
And, I basically just made like a lattice. So it's a 2x2 eighth wall steel on the perimeter. And for the mounting feet, so all like the exterior parts like this. Kind of wanted to do that to give it just that strength. But it's also like a slider, like if I whack this, that's the same material that's in my sliders.
Right.
So it's bomb-proof. And then across is just basically supporting the floor of the flatbed is a slightly lighter gauge metal, trying to keep it as light as possible. So minus the drawers, minus the fenders, the slides, the frame of the flatbed is only about 190 pounds.
Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great.
Weight's a huge deal with these trucks.
And tell me about the pop-up.
Yeah. So, I mean, like the whole concept here was in California, I think I've heard you talk about this maybe even too. It's like, it's really windy sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you go up Sierras and you're like, it's midnight, or at least for me, I'm always showing up at the last second, and it could be like 30-mile-an-hour winds. I knew that I didn't want to have to sleep with a tent. So my concept was like, hey, I want to make it an option, but the main thing was like set out to make like basically a little hotel room on the back of my truck for any weather. So my main use is with that down, and I can sleep in here like that. It's like 6'6" long. It's 5.5 wide. It's really pretty spacious, and that's how I use it. The pop-up part I haven't actually finished yet. There's a tarp in there that's duct taped in. I was like,
doing the
actually
job.
had someone was like, hey, nice build. I'm like, nice, thanks. Hey, help me with this duct tape. Had him help me this morning, but eventually it'll be like a legit, or more legit. But honestly, that's one of those funny things. It's like, okay, the tarp costs $30, the duct tape costs $17, and it really works way too good, like to be motivated to change it because it's that's what the pop is. But there's standing room in there. You know, I can go like this up there. So queen size bed down here. Then there's a slide that comes out to here, and that's where the kids sleep. You have 6 feet of length there and 50 inches wide. So concept was kind of like 4-door truck. I've got 2 kids and a wife. If we want to go camping, like it's possible. All of us can sleep in there with it up.
Right on. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Anything else we should touch on?
I mean, having designed it myself, like I have so many thoughts I want to show you, but I think these storage things are one of the most popular. I could show you kind of how that works.
Sure, let's take a look at that, but that's a good point. You have so much information for folks. They can find out more.
Yeah.
And they can find out on your website, right? So what's the website again?
So it's overlandunderbudget.com.
All one word. Overland Under Budget.
Yeah, all one word, no space.
Great.
Saving space there. And Instagram, same thing, Overland Under Budget. I do a lot of detailed stuff, a lot of stories and stuff like that.
Great.
I also try and respond to messages, but it's getting out of hand right now. But and then YouTube. YouTube has a bunch of the actual builds. So we were talking about YouTube as well. Yep.
And then we were talking about since most of this is you've designed and built it. You said you had some templates for folks. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I don't know if I'm gonna do like a plan like here you can build exactly what I did, but I want to build something for people to be able to download like a little ebook. Yeah. And I don't know when this will come out, but this is something I want to do. A materials list, like a kind of behind why I choose, the materials I choose, kind of my thought process, and then, this how distance of the mounting points for this truck. kind of help people get started and
Right.
get like a, you know, get going on it, because that's kind of the hardest part, was
Great.
initially deciding like how long, how wide, how high, and I could share kind of my experience with that. So
Right on.
Yeah,
It's-
look for that later.
Okay, good. So
But
they
I
can-
do have some stuff on my
So
site.
through any of your channels, I imagine you're
Yeah,
going to
you're
be
gonna-
telling people.
yeah, put
You're
in
gonna be
Overland
like,
Under
"Hey."
Budget, and you're gonna be like,
You're
"Oh my God,
Okay, so
too
here we
much."
go. We got
Yeah.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take a look at how this.
Yeah, okay, so
How
this
this
was
works.
one of my favorite things. So when I did the flatbed,
Awesome.
I tell you, it's up this high.
Yep.
So you lose the ability. Like basically, I was like, okay, I can go as low as I can, do one piece, and I can put storage. I'm gonna have to put it in there, and then if I want to take it out, I got to move my bed or lift.
Right.
You know, it's like just like in the back of an SUV. You
Yeah.
gotta know where you put it. So I thought, okay, I'll go higher. I can have stuff on the outside all the time, because again, with the camper off, I didn't want to have to like, oh, my tie downs, they're now just on top of the flatbed
Right.
or in the truck. So came up with this idea using Pelican cases.
Yep.
Awesome cases. Another kind of Gucci product, but that really stands. It's worth the money.
It's gonna last,
It's
yeah.
lifetime stuff. So,
Yeah.
and they're a great company. So, I got to work with them. I had the concept and picked a case that fit the size, and then, yeah, basically made this out of Legos, then made it out of cardboard, and then made it out of metal. But the concept is, hey, you can, reach back here and pop this open, so
Great.
you've got access to the case. And it comes out far enough where you can open the case completely.
Great.
If I
That
was
is
going to use
awesome.
slides, they only double
Yeah.
in length, and this would be, halfway under.
Right.
So that was kind of the motivation. And then since
That's
you do
fantastic.
lose space with a case versus like a welded in box, like technical, square footage,
Yep.
I wanted to keep the advantage of having a case, and so I made it fully removable too. So you can take
Oh,
these-
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
there's some flip-flops
Cool.
by Rainbow.
Cool.
But yeah, this just locks in. It's all built around that case. And,
Right on.
Just pushes back. So that scrape spot, I thought I'd hit this, but it hit my new rear bumper, which is perfect. That means this is protecting this, at least on stuff like that. So super cool.
Great.
Same
That
thing
is,
with the back.
that is awesome. Hey, thank you
Yeah,
for sharing your
absolutely.
build.
Thank you.
Really
I felt
appreciate it.
honored
Yeah,
to
that's
be able to
awesome.
do this
Yeah,
together, so.
yeah, that's awesome. You guys know where to find me.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Cool.